What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles, your host, as always. Joining me is little brother, Jayce. Maybe apparently the rest of the fellas will join us. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Little brother, what's up with you?
I'm doing well, bro. How are you?
Outstanding as always. Let's jump into it. I watched the first part of The Flash. I told you I was going to watch the second one. I just didn't. I could not summon up the energy, thoughts, or efforts. One of my dear loyal readers was like, "Hey, you're just watching this now to stick with it, huh?" And okay, am I? I guess probably. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the cancellation notice so then I can have another show like Arrow that I watched every episode of, like Agents of Shield. Because I started doing these TV recaps with Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, Arrow, Agents of Shield, and Flash. And some of them are gone now. Some of them are about to leave. And Flash should be gone. But they just keep rolling. And it's not getting any better. I keep waiting for that season 5 of Arrow breakout, but I can't see it happening now. Help me out.
Okay. I'm the one who kind of goaded you into watching last week's episode because, let's be honest, for anyone who didn't know, that was the trial of not really Killer Frost. And this was like the just so non-believable episode. It's like they're putting her on trial for basically nothing she's done, maybe besides some property damage when what was it, Savitar was around. And I'm not even, I mean, that's about the most. It wasn't like, oh, well, the stuff you did with Amunet. It's like, she didn't really do anything with Amunet. She was a bartender most of the time. It was like, so again, there's nothing here. And we're like, oh, yeah, she needs to be put in jail. She needs to be executed. Oh, no, she needs to be given the cure. So wait a minute. We're going to basically eliminate somebody based on a born condition for absolutely, like, that's like saying, hey, we have to kill you because you violated a traffic law. And that's just
also, shouldn't everyone associated with Star Labs be in prison for causing all the meta breakouts? If we're going to start, hey, let's get people who cause all these problems. Star Labs should be condemned. Barry, Wells, Cisco, Caitlin should all be in prison for their role in sparking this meta-human crisis.
Okay, let's go with the fact that I mean, since I just watched the Thinker season, Barry Allen directly led to the escape and death of 4 to 5 metahumans, even though he wasn't initially guilty on the trial of killing the Thinker. But hey, you lead to 5 other people getting dead and nobody knows. Oh yeah, and the warden's also dead, but you're alive. I'm thinking you're still staying in jail right now. Like, but we're gonna ignore that mess because we have a Killer Frost trial, and after all this season, all this build up of making Killer Frost a thing, the resolution of it, she's going to jail for life.
for life.
Like, and no, she's not part of the NWO. It was just like, you worked all of this out to get her a life sentence for absolutely nothing, and we're just, oh man, okay, well that sucks. Well, great non-setting precedent. So any metahuman who commits a crime not of death will now be sentenced to life. I'm like, I tried to take my lawyer brain off. I'm like, you do understand? Hey, I don't want to set a precedent, but any metahuman that commits a crime, your butt's going to jail for life.
But also, is Cecile not the absolute worst lawyer in the history of the Arrowverse?
I'm sorry. You have a literal cheat code. I can see what everyone is thinking. I can go into a jury box. I mean, I literally can hear what the jury's thinking before they think, hey, they think that Killer Frost doesn't look sympathetic enough. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, she saved a puppy last week. Like, come on. Like, this, just, no, stop it. I was so just like, I just literally, like, I'm like, I threw my head up, like, this is so ridiculous. And I'm like, Jeff, you got to watch this because you were on the fence. You're like, I don't want to. I'm like, nah, you got this. All this Killer Frost. Nah, you got to see the resolution of this mess. But I'll tell this. This week's episode actually focused on the title character of The Flash.
Wait a second. The title character of The Flash is Killer Frost.
No, it keeps coming up in my DVR as The Flash, so I think it's The Flash. So
it's funny because when I watch NXT, it says NXT starring Beth Phoenix, and I'm like, that's wrong. But maybe that's what I'm getting the default with my DVR with Flash. Okay, so I will watch it. I'll give you my thoughts. I started watching it, and then I was like, dinner sounds like a better option. It was. I made the right call. So, what I do know at the end of last week's episode, in the first 5 minutes of the episode that I started watching, Nora, aka the Speed Force, decides to kill Fuerza, the one interesting new character they've introduced in like 2 years. And she had 10 minutes of screen time, and I was like, hey, she could be an interesting character. Let's kill her off. Great, okay. There's a precedence for that on this show. Interesting character? Let's kill him.
Watch this week's episode.
Okay. All right. But I hate now that Barry and Iris have to teach Nora how to be a superhero when she shouldn't be a thing. Why is she still wearing Barry's mother's face? And why did no one in that last episode say, hey, there's Barry Allen? That woman oddly looks like his mother that was killed all those years ago.
Well, Harrison Wells walks around all the time, and everybody says, it's Harrison Wells! Get the pitchforks! I mean, so, well, yeah, we're just going to ignore it. And in fact, it's like, hey, the Speed Force supposedly has been around since, Gravity started. So why does she need any coaching on anything?
Why is she having any dialogue with Barry? Like, listen, dude. Hey, I blink to take your powers away again.
Remember that? I remember this time I had a nice conversation with an aunt. It was a really friendly conversation. We really talked about life. How throwing in the dirt. It was an interesting conversation. Pretty much what the Speed Force talking to Barry would pretty much be like.
Yeah, and then I stepped on it. Yeah, I don't get it. I'm very confused.
We have no contract, okay? Deal with it, okay?
Just deal, okay? We got the Fantastic Four coming from Marvel Studios while she's doing the promotion for A Quiet Place 2. Like everybody is like, hey, what about you, the Invisible Woman? And Emily Blunt says that she and her husband, John Krasinski, have not been contacted about being Sue Storm, Susan Richards, and Reed Richards. I'm thinking this is just stir the pot a little, get people excited, make people think, hey, they would be outstanding fan casting for it. What do you think? Is this something you'd be interested in them?
I would have been interested. Let me say, do I think their casting works well? Yes. But with going into the next phase of Marvel movies, you have to think of, is this actor or actress going to be with us for possibly 10 years when we have our next big blow-off movie? And I don't know. Do you want to introduce? I know I joked about this a while ago, but it's like, do you introduce Franklin Richards? Like, how far do you want to go for them in 10 years? I think you probably need both a little younger actors and actress so you can make sure you have them for 10 years. You don't want to be like DC and, by the time you get to Superman 2, Henry Cavill's a 50-year-old man. So I think you got to go a little younger.
I think he may be 60 by the time we get to Superman 2.
True indeed.
I was watching a commercial, I guess, for Legends of Tomorrow while The Flash is on, and the cast is basically unrecognizable. And it's like it's a variety show. And I'm so confused what this show is now from its original concept. And I'll probably watch this season. I'll review the Blu-ray set and be like, man, that was really fun and crazy, but man, I never want to watch it based off the commercials. Like, never.
Again, it's like I know you've seen the picture on Netflix where you see Rip Hunter and all these guys in costumes looking like the superhero stuff. Man, if you watch that after season 2, like, wait a minute, what the heck? Like, I was saving time. These dudes are just a bunch of F-ups, screwing up time, and couldn't be cared. And then when it got the gall to school Barry, you can't mess with time like that. I'm sorry, Sarah. What? Come on. Like, then you got dinosaurs running around the world. Like, stop. You just like, you guys have the whole time zero after you guys for all your mess ups. It's like, come on. Like, it's a laughable show that if you accept it is a laughable show, not a superhero show, it's laughable. It probably is entertaining. I mean, it'd probably be more entertaining to me than Flash has been because it's like we know we're a joke. We accepted it. Now we're in on the joke. Flash just hasn't let everybody else on the joke that we're getting canceled. And everybody else is just trying to find jobs. So I'm okay with Legends doing what they got to do.
I definitely think that Legends works best as a binging show because it's crazy. You just can't watch it thinking this used to be a show based on superheroes. Because if you do that and all the compromises they took to create that spinoff, instead of just making a proper team up, it's fine. But
Now,
sure, when I watch it, I'll enjoy it.
now, do you find it is comparable to Doom Patrol in that respect? Like Doom Patrol watching weekly would annoy me, but I'm thinking if I binged it, it would have been more tolerable. Like, what's your assessment?
I don't know. I think Doom Patrol is a show because it's another one that I wouldn't try to do week to week and write a recap on. Even if I'm doing so, like when I'm watching Fear the Walking Dead, I have like a bunch in the tank to review, right? Like I watch it in bunches, and same with Black Lightning. I try to stay on top of Flash and some of the other shows, but Doom Patrol I think works. I think it could work either way. Like I could watch it week to week or binge it, and since I'm not caring to review each episode, it doesn't matter. Um, and then there's some other shows where it's like, yeah, like The Mandalorian, because if I don't watch it week to week, something's gonna get spoiled, and I don't want that. And I guess that's the main thing. There's some shows people are gonna ruin and just spoil. I'm not gonna be on Twitter and go, "Oh my gosh, can you believe the chief did this?" I'm not gonna have to worry
As
about
a
that.
like, I mean, again, the classic is if say it took you a day to watch the finale of Mandalorian this season, it would have been nope. I'm deleting all social media. I'm done with y'all. Y'all aren't ruining anything I actually want to see ever again. Again.
Again. Yeah. So Jay King said he had his second shot, so he won't be joining us tonight. So that's why you haven't heard him pop up yet. Now, speaking of comic books, here's something that has me very interested and very intrigued. There is a series that I want you to read called Bitterroot. If you have not been reading it, and if you out there listening have not stumbled upon this, it is an excellent book. Basically, it is like a monster movie where family is taking care of these monsters that are in 1920s Harlem Renaissance Harlem. So they're dealing with racist folk and these demons and devils and all this stuff. It's so good, right? And Regina King is going to direct it. And she's already gotten a lot of acclaim from her work on the Watchmen series. And now she's going to be doing this. Bitterroot is something that, when you're reading something nowadays, it's not like, oh man, what a great comic. It's like, oh man, I bet this great comic could be a really good TV series or movie. And it's being set up right now as a movie, but I could easily see this as a TV show too. Like I could see this very easily being a Lovecraft Country kind of everybody's buzzing about it kind of TV series. So I'm excited. I think this would be really good. So check that, add that to your must-read comic book list. All right.
Cool. It's the interesting thing is like I wonder after watching Watchmen, they said you're the perfect person to attach to this.
I mean, she's done great stuff already.
But after watching Watchmen, it's like, okay, you get how to make the action. Yeah. You can do this. I don't know which one pays her more money, a series or a movie, but hey, I'm if they think it's good enough for her, I'm sure it's worth checking out the comics.
Right. Like to to me, it's like this is the best of both worlds because Bitterroot is the kind of thing they needed. Well, I don't know. I think some people just wouldn't see it a cool comic book, but they will talk and get all into a cool TV series slash movie. And I think this will help people get into the comic book series.
I mean, it's not like DC will screw up their comics and their movies at the same time.
It's Image, so you don't have to worry about it being messed up. That's the best part. It's nothing to do.
You should have led with that. That's
I should have led with that. It's from Image Comics. So yeah.
It's not from DC. They won't screw it up.
Yeah. I don't know what the heck DC would do on it. Star Wars news. Obi-Wan Kenobi star Ewan McGregor says shooting has started on Obi-Wan Kenobi. And they have a special scene that was shot on May 4th. I won't speculate. I don't care. I just want to know when I can start watching the show.
Yeah, I mean, like the spoiler scene. It's like, even if it was like, let's just throw out some Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. I don't care. I'm already signing up for it. I don't need. I mean, it's like, oh, that's cool. You know how much it's not going to change how much I'm going to watch it? None. I'm already.
Absolutely not. All right. So speaking of another Image book, you finally listened and you watched Jupiter's Legacy. What's up, everybody? Got a brand new giveaway for you. It's Locked In, which you can see now on digital. It stars Mina Savari of American Beauty, Jeff Fahey from Lost, and Costas Mandylor from the Saw franchise. Kidnapped and locked in a high-tech storage facility, a hostage must stay one step ahead of her captors as they hunt for stolen diamonds if she has any chance to escape alive. Secure your copy of Locked In, new to buy or rent tonight. It's rated R from our friends at Paramount Pictures. You don't have to pay for it, however, if you are one of the lucky winners from Lyle's Movie Files giveaway, because I'm giving away some codes. All you've got to do is email me at lylesmoviefiles@gmail and tell me what's your favorite thriller, and I'll send you a digital code. But if you don't happen to be one of those lucky winners, it doesn't matter. You can still check out Locked In right now to buy or rent on digital from our friends at Paramount Pictures. Check it out. Now back to the rest of the show. Jupiter's Legacy is an 8-episode series that aired last Friday on Netflix. It is basically the story of how a generation of superheroes who received especially long life have progressed the last few decades as superheroes, and now their children are starting to get powers and become the new generation. And like any generation clash, there's some different philosophies, some different thoughts. Things have evolved, and it's creating this chasm of what should be done between the younger heroes and the older heroes. And it's told in like this Lost style flashback where we have our present day storyline and we have our very extended flashback scene where we're finding out how these original heroes got their powers. And it's a long build up, but I think it's worth it to understand what sets them on this path and why they have the convictions they have and why they're doing what they do and why they think their way to do it is the right way, or at least the leader of the team. Played by my man Josh Duhamel, who I thought would have been great to head a G.I. Joe movie. He was really good in the G.I. Joe movie and the Transformers films with Tyrese.
It was just called Transformers. There was no G.I.
Joe. That's weird because they really focused a lot on the military strike force that was pretty elite. And I mean, seriously, that was the best part in those Transformers movies. Tyrese and Josh Duhamel and their little soldier.
That was no problem.
The best part of those Transformers movies, that Megan Fox. But yeah. So this time he gets to play a superhero, and he's somebody who's like, yep, he should have been doing this, and I'm glad that he got to do a superhero role because he's well suited for it. What did you think of this after you finally watched it?
Well, when you told me about it, I'm like, I'll get to it. And then I think it was the option of, like, I was like, oh, I'll watch a couple episodes. And then it was like, oh, crap, I'm hooked. I could watch, like, Supergirl and Black Lightning, but that's not gonna happen. I mean, I think one of the best components of it was like thinking of heroes from, I mean, like almost a century difference, like their worldview of what they've seen and what their kids are seeing now. It's like that is a great conflict, and it's like because there's so much of it. I mean, there's so many decades uh, between the two. You can do flashbacks very easy, and it doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, we're doing more flashback. Like it's like each one of these eras that they're I mean, could cover. It's like, hey, why didn't we do what we could have done? We literally us six can do anything. Why are we allowing any of this to happen? Like, I mean, especially it's like I mean, it's like it's got a diverse cast of heroes. So it's like, hello. I mean, it's like even the conflict you know is going to happen. Like, hey, why are we not stepping in, stopping all of this? Like, us six could end all of this if we chose it. And I think that is what made. I mean, it was like kind of drew me in. It was like, oh, okay, this the hero. It was like one of the weird things. Like the superhero stuff was really cool. And action was really good, and but it was like much more the story behind everything was much more got me in because I was like, so how did they get their powers? I don't know anything about these guys. Like, oh, like how do their kids have powers? Like, how do the supervillains have powers? I don't know that. Like, it looked like there was no superheroes until these six. So there's a world of supervillains. Like, there's got to be a story there. And
Star Labs.
And, you know, one of them found Star Labs, you know, a particle acceleration happened, you know, and then, hey, I don't know how these things happen, but somebody should solve them.
And someone should be in prison for it.
Not me, though, but somebody. Like one of the people we made, and created, yeah, they should be in prison for all the stuff that we did. Yeah, ignore that. I think, I think one of the things that after watching that really got to me was like, I understand that making a network TV show is hard. I understand probably doing a network superhero TV show is hard. But if you just use this weird thing called source material and not try and reinvent the wheel, because this is the same thing I said about Invincible. It's like, you know, if you have source material, use that. Make it, I mean, it's like basically what we got in season one was probably either their first graphic novel or first and second graphic novel was their season. And it was like, wow, I do want to see more. I would probably pick up the graphic novel if it wouldn't spoil some of the actual story that I'm about to see. Like Flash and all them, it's like, hey, we're gonna take the version of new Captain Cold. We're like Captain Cold. We're gonna give it to Killer Frost. Why? Oh, well, we kind of screwed up Captain Cold, so we're just gonna throw it in. Hey, you know, we got this great story of Superman. Why don't we get into Supergirl? It makes no sense. Just give it to her. Like, but are we gonna pay it off? No, we're just gonna finish it out in one episode. But this was like 4 issues of actually good story. Nah, man, finish it up in one episode. It'll be great. Oh, what are we going to talk about the rest of the season? I don't know. We'll come up with that on the fly.
That's the real problem because it's like they know they have 22 episodes to work with. And we've seen now with Invincible and Jupiter's Legacy, they take 8 episodes and then just focus on 1 or 2 main stories and take subplots as they need them without rushing through them to get to it. And that's something that's a real problem because it's like all you have to do is do this, then you ensure people want more seasons. And I know 8 is a lot less than 22, but if you take that same approach, it doesn't matter. Gunnar, have you finished watching Jupiter's Legacy yet?
No, I have not finished watching it. I've gotten halfway to episode 1 and I fell asleep because I tried to watch it too late. That's just my fault. I don't no thing on the show. I just did not get a chance, but I plan on binging all the way through, so no worries there. So I will be prepared next episode. However, I'm sure it's better than Supergirl, as I'm jumping in on the conversation. I just have this strange feeling that it's better than Legends of Tomorrow for sure. I just don't know why. It just seems like it's going to be better than that. Piggybacking off of your pithy season thing, yes, 22 episodes have always been too long. Do you remember Black Lightning, the first season? It was only 10, and it was a wonderful season.
I mean, Stargirl was 13 episodes on DC
Perfect.
Universe, and now they're going to go to 22. I'm already worried it's just going to get so watered down that it's just going to be unwatchable again. I mean, I'm sorry, unwatchable like other CW shows.
Right.
Is it really?
What? No, because it's the summer, it may not be 22 episodes. But I'll tell you this, Gunner. It is the final season of Supergirl, and we have focused most of the season of Supergirl in the Phantom Zone.
Great.
We're 8 episodes in. We actually got to the mid-season finale, and she's in the Phantom Zone.
So she might be in the Phantom Zone until the last episode, and then they'll do a montage of her entire life at the end of it, and then some French horn will show up, right?
You're looking at the last 5 minutes of Smallville. We don't want you to.
That's what it feels. It feels like the final episode of How I Met Your Mother, right? Or final season of How I Met Your Mother. She's just going to stay there forever, and then eventually they'll just figure the rest out in one episode.
You're joking, but that could happen.
I'm almost positive it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, not having a crossover, I think, affected all of these shows for the detriment. I mean, it was detrimental to all of them because, like, Batwoman didn't pay off the kryptonite thing in any kind of correct form. Supergirl being in the Phantom Zone made it so none of them stopped Lex Luthor from doing whatever he did last season. Oh, he made the whole world fall in love with him, and they figured out how to stop him there. Black Lightning is in Black Lightning world lost to time and history. All of the, I mean, only one that's thriving is like Superman and Lois because it's like we ain't got to deal with their mess. It's great. Enjoy. Have fun. Follow your seasons and finales. Keep Flash. We're good. Just rolling his eyes.
I am because it's just like, and they're still working on more. I think that's the real problem. They're working on Naomi, and their formula is showing signs of decay, and it's not getting better. It's not like, oh man, Superman and Lois and Stargirl exist kind of on their own, and it's not because they exist on their own that they're better. It's just they're written with better care. I have no thoughts that Naomi is going to be so much more improved than that. I feel like it's just going to be like the other ones, and that worries me to a great extent.
I'll say, is it done by the same showrunners of the Arrowverse? Then it's that like they beat that formula up to death, and it's like I think you said it last week. It's like this formula is so aged because all these other shows have proven you can do this correctly, and it's like your formula is so dated now. It's like it's not a matter of the action. I mean, it's literally like, yo, just treat all of your characters with respect, and you'll be fine. Like just like any other sitcom, don't make them like Supergirl is basically, like I said, is written for 12-year-olds, and it's like it's a rated PG script. I keep saying I need to look at the rating. It's just it needs better. So I don't know if I'd mess with Naomi at all.
So the big news of the week was NBC finding some space on the bandwagon of we're not really feeling the Hollywood Foreign Press Association anymore. We're not going to be airing the Golden Globes next year. Tom Cruise is the first celebrity to go, yeah, I'm good on these guys. Here are my 3 awards back. I don't want them. Now, this is based off of a LA Times expose, which revealed how loose they were with their finances, a complete lack of diversity, which I know shocks all of you. But now it's like, hey, man, they are trying to get rid of us. What are we going to do? Tell me how much you guys are going to miss the Golden Globes, first of all. Going to start with you.
That silence that you just heard me make, that's how much I'm going to miss it. The end. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, it's since 2013, it's been put out that none of the members of the HFPA are black.
Mm-hmm.
And now people
say.
are like, well, what's going on with this? We're going to make changes.
Okay.
So a 90 member body doesn't have any diversity on it. And when you see these nominations, we always scratch our heads like, did you watch this? Nope. We just were told to watch it, and then we knew who we were giving the award to before anything happened. So, yeah. I really don't need to see any more Hollywood parties where basically like they put bottles of Dom Perignon and gifts on their table, and it's like, hey, we're giving you guys some free stuff for being great. I don't need to see that. I don't think I've watched it in years, and I probably, if it goes to YouTube or public access, I still ain't watching it.
Chief, how about you?
I never watched anyway. I never. I don't. You know what, man? I stopped watching all those kind of shows back when the BET Awards was on, and Lil Wayne's daughter got up and started twerking on it. I remember thinking to myself, I can't spend more time watching any more of these shows, congratulating any more of these fools. You know what I mean? Like, when was the last time you got an award at your job? You know what I mean?
It's been a while.
Sometimes I think, man, the regular people need awards too, man. That's what I watch. The regular people awards. When you reward people for making sure that the electricity flows through during the pandemic, and thank you for keeping this internet, and thanks to truckers for still driving through with the food for these grocery stores and so on and so forth. I hate watching them. I just you watch that table of like Jay said, you watch that table of Ace of Spades and Breitling watches and all these things that these millionaires already have just for doing something. Like, you know what I mean? Like you like, hey man, it's not even a job for y'all, really, in a sense. Most of y'all love to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't care what they do, man. And if they have 150 white person panel, so what? You know what I mean? Listen, do your thing, folks. I'm tired of, I feel like blacks need to come up with their own thing instead of trying to push into their world. You know what I mean? The door for us. Why don't we just create our own door and push into that and not like not no simple-minded thing, like some actual real thing where we recognize all movies now, not just black movies, but where there's where we have our diversity in that panel or in that in whatever whatever thing we created for versus like how can we not represent it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, for example, if to a store and the store said whites only, would you be like, no, you got to let me in here to shop? No, you'd be like, you know what? You can kiss my ass. I'll spend my money elsewhere. I feel the same way about music awards and these things that they try to do to keep blacks out. We came together. We would, we could do this thing right. I mean, we spend enough money. I see y'all giggling. Jayce, what's up?
Jayce does spend too much.
Jeff, I see you, Jason, Jeff.
He's on mute. I don't think he realizes it. Great, it's like a Zoom call.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Gotta look at your text messages. It's always good. Glad to see King out.
Yes.
Ooh.
But yeah. See, it's weird. It's now there are the black real awards. I actually vote on those, so I do take part in them. It's not at the level of anything that's on TV and gets this big acclaim and all that good stuff. But there is there are strides, and I think maybe this is the kind of time for a group like that to get more recognition and to get put in a better light. But yeah, absolutely, we need to do that. And I did not watch the award shows this year for the first time in a really long time, and it turns out I didn't miss it. And I think I'm just going to continue to do that in the future because wow, trash. Speaking of trash, Ellen DeGeneres' show is coming to an end. I do like that segue. It's pretty good. All right. And she said basically, I'm not doing it anymore because it's no longer a challenge.
A challenge for me.
Yeah, neither is losing 1 million viewers after they find out that your workplace is kind of toxic when you base your whole entire gimmick personality on being the nicest person ever. So there have been allegations of racist behavior and intimidation on the show, and staff members complain about pay reduction, lack of communication, poor treatment during the pandemic. And a non-union tech company was hired to tape the show from Ellen's house. She even addressed all this stuff, and yeah, she said, but if I were quitting the show because of that, I wouldn't have come back this season. So yeah. It's not good. But the Kelly Clarkson show, meanwhile, has gotten a bit more ratings and doing just fine. So I don't know. Maybe it's a coincidence.
No reason at all. No. And then trying to say, hey, it's not a challenge. Just say, hey, I need to step away from my show to get better. To really get that, to get my smile back. I think that would the right way to go. It's like just a challenge. It's like you sat in front of a bunch of TV screens and no one was laughing when you danced. Like, just say that. Just say I love the applause of the audience when I'm dancing in the aisles, and since they can't do that, I really don't want to do it. Just easier enough said. Not a challenge.
For the applause.
The applause.
Good riddance. I mean, the show got old after a while, right? A short while. And I'm like, okay. I mean, cool. And then, the guest that she always had was always on somebody else's show, so I could always watch it there. I was never really like, okay, I'm gonna go watch the Ellen show today. Like, you know what I mean? And I said this before, like, I don't know, the interaction with her and that DJ dude with the Get Out hat, you know what I mean? To hide his thing, whatever, from the Get Out. He, who you used to DJ with, there was like a hat on that looked like the dude from Get Out. Anyways, the interaction was always awkward and forced. And now, that's why I was like, I wasn't shocked when all the allegations and all that mess came out. And I was like, I'm good. I'm like, I'm all good. So, yeah, her arrogant way of saying I'm out is pretty typical. None of that surprises me. Yeah, good riddance.
Chief, I know you're going to miss it, right?
You know what? I didn't have a problem with the Ellen show. I was kind of surprised when those allegations came out and they said that she was toxic. I was like, oh, really? I was like, I didn't see it coming. You know what I mean? She always portrayed herself as this real sweet person, and then to find out, it was all a lie. I mean, if it was all a lie, who knows? I mean, now in this era we're in, you get in an argument with someone, and next thing you know, you're a toxic person. I don't know. I probably would have done the same if I was her. Like, I'm worth, $100 million. Do I need to really have a show? Probably not. You know what I mean? So at this point, if you have a problem with me, even though I'm employing you all, then let's go ahead and cancel the show. Good luck. Go find jobs elsewhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like that Bad Boys joint when Martin was like, Mike Lowry tends to be okay. Yeah. Mike Lowry got some money. He's going to be all right. I think he's going to be fine. It's the rest of the people who were complaining, like, what are y'all going to do? You know what I mean? Mike Lowry's going to be fine. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Very interesting. One other thing that I am very interested about is this Knives Out sequel. I think we talked about it last week, but now we're starting to get some cast announcements, and I am excited. Janelle Monáe has been announced today. Dave Bautista is going to be in it, and where am I blanking on my boy? Because the cast is just crazy. Oh, Edward Norton. And they're all joining Daniel Craig in this joint. So
nice.
This is going to Netflix, both Knives Out 2 and 3. I can't wait. And Rian Johnson seems like he is indeed trying to make sure that, hey, this joint is not going to be some, yeah, okay, the first one was a hit. Now we're going to eliminate any trace of minority representation. What are you guys thinking about this cast so far? And are you more excited now that you hear who's lined up to be in at least this first sequel?
Sorry.
Go ahead, bro.
Oh, okay, yeah. As much as we mess with, we hate Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson's the Star Wars.
Wait. Hate what he did with Star Wars. Nothing else.
Again, as I said, he is the Star Wars devil. After that, it's like I love Looper and love Knives Out, and it's like when they announced there was going to be a sequel, I'm like, I'm down for that. And the casting's like, okay, I like these guys. It's like Daniel Craig. I think that's a really good role for Daniel Craig. James Bond probably is not the best casting for him anymore, but it's like doing something like that is much. The original cast was really good, and I want to see if the new cast can actually come up. If the story is written kind of the same way, I think they'll be okay. But I'm excited, but I was excited just saying, all right, we're willing to do a sequel and put it on Netflix. So I'm excited.
Chief, what do you think?
The first Knives Out was good. I'm looking forward to how this second one may turn out. Dave Bautista, I love Drax, so I think that was an excellent character. It's funny. I'm hoping that it's funny. So yeah, I'm looking forward. Knives Out, the first one was good. So this second one is just as great. The cast sounds great, but just because you got a great cast doesn't necessarily mean a great movie. But we'll see how it goes, man. If it's really 2/3 as good as the original, it'll still be a damn good movie. I'm not gonna say half, but 2/3.
Yeah, let's not go that far. So these headlines have been interesting to me. They've been going Colton Underwood, the Bachelor's first gay bachelor. I'm like, that's not true. He wasn't actually saying he was gay when he was on the show. It wasn't like ABC was like, hey, ladies, you're going to be on the pause for this one because Colton's trying to find his man. That wasn't how they build that. He's not. He just so happens to be the first guy who's on The Bachelor who came out as gay afterwards. He said now that he was blackmailed with nude photos before coming out. He was going to a spa in LA and photos were taken of him. And this spa was known for catering to gay clientele. And so that's why he decided, or part of the reason why he decided to come out and be like, hey, this is what's going on. Because he got an anonymous email by someone threatening to out him. What do you think about this? Do you care? Or is this one of those deals where it's like it kind of sucks that he had to come out because somebody was trying to blackmail him for all of his bachelor money?
So doesn't this sound like a Robert Kraft type thing? Like if it's supposed to be known for catering to certain clientele, does that mean that spas doing illicit things and should be shut down? Am I wrong?
I don't understand.
Hey, the NFL season just got announced, so ignore that Robert Kraft question.
I mean, like, okay.
Ignore that.
I mean, Do you? I mean, you wouldn't want to have. I mean, in 2021, we wouldn't want to have anybody getting blackmailed for who they like. Like that's dumb. I mean, hopefully everybody, is honest with who they want to be with, and doesn't waste. I mean, doesn't get somebody's hopes up thinking they're going to fall in love with the guy of their dreams, and it's like, yeah, that was never my story. Because I actually watched that season, and ABC did not. And anyways, like they were like, hey, we got our guy. This dude's a former football player. I mean, they were just, I mean, hey, we got a virgin football player, and the ladies were all too happy to. Many of them were.
I'm going to deflower Colton.
Oh man, that was like half. They're like, that V-Car is coming with me, baby. It was like, so. I mean, like, again, how he was, if he was forced to come out, that sucks. But again, also don't remember, it's like the 3 months before, it was like, hey, didn't you have a stalking charge on your girlfriend? Like, I mean, that's just like, I mean, his story right now, I would almost watch because it's like, please explain to me how this makes sense. And maybe it will, but right now.
He addressed that. He said that controlling situations to try to grasp any part of the straight fantasy that I was trying to live out was so wrong, adding that he no longer wants to speak publicly about the situation because it's not fair for her to have her name in articles every time I talk. She had the restraining order, she being his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Randolph, filed a restraining order last year, and she's since had the restraining order dropped.
Okay.
Gunner, you got thoughts on it?
This was just so messy. Like, what? Okay, whatever. It's just too messy for me, man, to even form an opinion. So I'm like, just do what you do. Try not to make headlines. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm like, it's just so messy, all of it.
I mean, like,
that means she knew, like that means she knew all along. Like, what does that mean? Like, there's so many questions stemming from like every part of the situation that I can't even like fathom an opinion.
I mean, like, I'm wondering, it's like a lot of the girls that were his top, let's say 10, end up becoming Bachelorette contestants. It's like, is anybody gonna reach out to her like, hey, do you want to find love after that show, or do you want to just kind of do your real life dating and just move on from there?
Who knows? Okay. Well, it's that magical special time of the week, and I am going to give you a break, dear brother. I'm going to let you go first. Who are your nominees for Dummies of the Week?
I know. I'm only going to take one. I know you got a double header for us.
I've got two.
Okay. So my dummy of the week is Mr. Caleb KKK Kennedy, former finalist for American Idol. Mr. Kennedy, somehow, when he was a young 16-year-old, he's like not that old now, was photographed with somebody who was wearing basically a KKK hood in South Carolina. And then he's like, maybe that wasn't the way to go. The usual, blah, blah, blah.
I'm sorry if you were offended by my friend wearing a KKK hood.
It wasn't intended to be the KKK hood. And it was actually a nice summer day, and he just needed to put on a mask.
It's just really windy. Really windy.
Yeah, no one buys it. It's like, it's like if this guy was like 50 years old, you might have some bull crap like, oh, blah, blah. It's like, dude, you're like 19, and you're like, it was a picture from 3 years ago. Just happened to my buddy in South Carolina just happened to have his KKK hood. We were going to take it off. I don't know what happened. It was long planned meetings. Sometimes you just forget things. Take a picture.
Do they really need to meet in person? It's a pandemic, people.
Hey, we don't. Hey, we
got masks and hood on. Yeah, exactly.
They forgot. They're like, yo, you may want to throw a little color on your mask when you go out in public with your mask because you don't want people to confuse them. And make sure to take the eye holes off.
That's just like what it was like. Did you really think that was gonna fly? I mean, like, if we didn't have, what was the other guy, Waylon Mercy or whatever.
You know what I mean? Yeah. No, I know what you mean, but that's not who you're talking about.
Whatever. It's like, if you think this might come out, you might want to just jump off any game show or something like that. It's like, people will look at your social media and, like, if there's a dude in the hood with a KK, they're probably going to be like, ABC, you want to address this? I think we do.
I feel like I need to apply for social media fact checker for any and all ABC reality TV shows. And I'm just gonna put a bot look for racist stuff. Sorry guys, looks like 92% of your candidates have some racist stuff in their backdrop.
How
bad is it?
Are you sure it's really racist, or is it just you're too woke for us?
Is it antebellum dresses or KKK dresses?
Yes. So we probably can get around that, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Due to budget cuts, I don't think we can keep you on. Okay. So, I'm going to talk about my dummies of the week. First up, retired NFL quarterback Brett Favre, who I will happily take any and all opportunities to smash, bash, and trash on this show, has yet to pay back $600,000 he received from the good old state of Mississippi for multiple speaking events where he never showed up. He promised to repay the state after an audit released last May revealed $1.1 million had been paid to Favre's company. The amount was part of a $94 million in welfare spending that was questioned by auditors who said they either saw clear misspelling or could not verify where money was lawfully spent. Brett made an initial payment of $500,000 to the state a few days after the report was released.
My God.
But his spokesman said they have not heard since from Favre. They gave a commitment, a voluntary commitment, but it has not come back yet. So, you, Brett, you can, as always, stay on as a member of my Dummies of the Week and happily stay on that one, my man. My other Dummy of the Week is everyone who is freaking out right now on the East Coast about the possibility of all the gas evaporating. I was showing Jayce this video earlier today with the woman realized the cat was going to be drinking unleaded because she had a plastic trash bag that she was putting gasoline in. It was $2.95, but she was making sure she was not running out of it. So she put gas in the bag, and the gas was not working right. So then she put some more into the bag. And she was like, nope, it's not working. I need another bag to hold my gas that's leaking out of this trash bag. So then she finally got a third one to keep it all together.
If she just had a Target bag, it would have all worked out, man. She just
if she had brought her thermos, this would have all been worked out. I think the Costco bag the Wawa bag was not going to get it done, sis. So just the general heads up. Gas is not toilet paper. You need toilet paper. I get it. Nobody wants to start breaking off the notebook paper. You don't have to drive. So let's just figure out how far the closest hospital is. That's the only thing you really need gas for in an emergency and in a pandemic. Otherwise, you can stay happy till at home. You don't have to go out. You don't have to worry about paying $3.29 for gas, which I saw today. And people were like, yo, I got to get on this $3.29 gas before it's $3.45.
And the thing is, like, gas is actually running out up here. It's like, again, like, some of us are working from home. It's like, hey, all of us, just sit our happy tails at home. Let the people who's got to actually go to work, the waitresses and all them, let them get the gas. We'll be okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Gunner, do you have a nominee?
My nominee was your last one. I'm like, all
Feel
these
free to
families out
continue
here.
talking about it.
Oh, I'm gonna continue to talk about it, but the Brett Favre thing had me rolling, dog. None of that could have happened to a better asshole in a better shitty state. Moving on.
Absolutely.
The Dummies
like
of the
perfect
Week.
Combination.
Perfect combination.
Right.
Um,
Douchebag
so
screws over a douchey state.
yep, because last I checked, the state we live in probably is helping to pay their state and the federal. Yeah, never mind. Never mind. We're not even gonna go there. So yeah, I've been seeing photos and videos of Bamas with like big ass barrels just and then just pumping gas in there with their little pump. And I'm sitting here like, what are you gonna do? Why are you gonna? And then I mean, I just feel like you're gonna light a cigarette and there it goes. Like y'all, and then for real, y'all. Like I'm talking Dundalk, I'm talking Bama, Northern Virginia. I'm talking even in this area, man. These people crazy, dude. So I know where the obscure gas stations are. We haven't been through it for real in a while, but I do remember where to go for shortages. When there's a shortage, you go to the boony ones that no one remembers that is there. And I'm just like, yep, I'm going there. When we need it, because we still do the whole. Our kid goes to a little daycare joint with 3 kids, so you know what I mean. I'm like, we still drive. We're going to do that, but we won't need to fill up for a while. But if there is a shortage by the time we need to fill up, because literally that's the only place we're going. Because like you said, it's a freaking pandemic. Stay your ass home if you don't have to go anywhere. It's really simple. We did it for months.
Right. Like, if only we learned something during that pandemic.
Nope. Toilet paper. We're using the same. We did. Some of these dumbasses are learning dumbassery. We're going to use the same philosophy we did for toilet paper and paper towels for the gas.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, it's just hilarious. It reminds me of a Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode where dude was saying, like, yo, it's your fear that's really going to really be the end of you. It's like, and I'm like, yep, and that's literally what just happened.
Right.
They were like, we'll be good. They were like, no, seriously, we're good. We'll be back online very soon. We're good. No, gas shortage. And I'm like, I'm not even looking at them. I don't even know where to find misinformation anymore. So I don't even know what these idiots are doing, but I'm starting to look at the demographic, and I'm like, oh. That's all I got to say is, oh. George is done, right? I'm like, okay, that's not a coincidence. Cool. And, like, you know what I mean? Like parts of Virginia. And I'm like, okay. Then we look in the blips of this little area here where we're supposed to be in like a weird utopia or whatever the hell, blue. I'm just sitting here like, I see it. I still see it here, but I know exactly where to find it here. I just named them Dundalk, Gainesville. You know what I mean? It's just like, Frederick, most likely.
Yeah, not bad bets. Yo, Chief, you got any nominees, sir?
Isn't it almost like the southern states just didn't have to learn common sense because slavery was just instilled on that you had somebody else doing your work? Like it just kept going and going. Like, you know what I mean? I did have the gas shortage. People lining up, so that was my Dummies of the week, watching these fools get down. But then, as you guys were talking, I was like, I'm gonna have to change that. And so Chick-fil-A has a shortage of sauce. And apparently, because of this sauce, they've been tweeting that this is now Joe Biden's America. So Chick-fil-A's shortage of sauce is what you have to look for in this Biden administration. You will not get your proper Chick-fil-A sauce. And it's Joe Biden's fault. Actually, he had made a deal with the Russians to come in and give them 85% of the Chick-fil-A sauce. And that's why the shortage is happening. So now, of course, they're blaming Biden for the shortage. He had no idea that, we didn't have stockpiles of Chick-fil-A sauce left. It's not his fault, though. You know what I mean? But at least the Russians are eating good. And that's what counts.
Here's the problem. Well, fellas, tonight now, Jayce, we can finally appreciate the finale of Married at First Sight after that whole smoke and mirrors bait and switch that we got last week, which also should qualify us as Dummies of the Week too, because we fell for hook, line, and rip.
I mean, especially because our DVRs put the red light on, like, oh man, as soon as the podcast is, I'm gonna watch this. no, we're actually going to give you another show that has technically the same title, so your DVR is going to think that we actually have the same show, and you're going to watch it just like, is this a real episode? No, this is just this is what we
It's a
got.
discussion. It is all right.
Shady.
Now for real, we're gonna watch it. Gunner, I watched The Circle in season 2.
Yay.
So I was actually
It is
happy
great.
with the reality TV show that didn't screw over black people. It's great.
Oh, I'm sitting here like, this is like such a positive show for such a competition show.
I know. It was like, what the heck? What is happening?
Like Allison and I were sitting here like, we're okay with any of these 3 people finalists winning.
Right.
Any of them.
Exactly. I was like, yo, I'm actually okay with this. Normally, I'm like, how are these 3 dicks still here? But this one, I was like, any one of the 3 had a valid claim to win, and I would have been fine with it. Once my boy who just wanted to win so he could get a pool lost, I was like, yes, great.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was terrible. That Monica.
But the brother went pretty far. I mean, you know me, I'm rooting for everybody black. You know,
right.
I'm not saying it before either, but all
and
good.
The people, and when folk got eliminated, I was like, well, that was kind of on you. But yeah,
dude, certain people were like, I'm like, well, I mean, what did you expect? I love when the plan went together. That's all I got to say. That plan went together pretty damn far. And then it was like, and then one of the plans I called was going to fail because they didn't incorporate everything. Right. Sorry, I'm in love with game theory and game theory
man.
That was definitely like, yo, I'm sitting here like, Allison, I could play you. I mean, you could play me, but I don't think I could play you. So I've already gone about that myself.
The joint that won it for me when I was like, all right, this is who I'm pulling to win, was the Saquon Barkley note. I'm like, if y'all have it down like this, then you deserve to win.
Right. Right. When I saw the notes, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, like, you came to actually win. And I was ready at that point.
We bringing that joint home.
Yeah, man.
Like, that is crazy.
Yeah,
so, good for them. Great show. Highly recommended.
Yeah.
Highly recommended, especially season 2. Season 2 was so positive, man.
Yeah, that's the one thing, because I started with season 2 and then watched season 1, and I was like, well, should I go back to season 1? But man, season 2 was so, like, I liked all the people, and yeah, like there's only one person I didn't really like, and that was because I just felt like she was on blinder mode and didn't try to own up to what she was trying to do. But she didn't last long, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, I was sitting here like, well, I mean, you deserve this one. Like, you deserve that L big time, and then gonna still cop the attitude. I'm like, no, you deserve that L.
Like, get over it. It's over.
Oh, but then my homegirl from DC had to eat it too. So I'm like, all right, well, that's all right.
Yeah, it was a rough one. All right, well, that's it, fellas. We're gonna go, Jayce. We're gonna finish watching Married at First Sight. If you haven't watched The Circle, we'll come back next week so y'all can talk about your thoughts on Jupiter's Legacy and more Star Wars: The Bad Batch. And 2 more episodes for the big episode 200, so stay tuned. All right, fellas, thanks as always for rolling. Thank you guys out there for listening. This episode of Lost Movie Files has been filed.